Alright, Travis Wingoodsill. Just got back from shopping. Bought too much that I could carry, and the one handle on the milk bag fell off. Oh God. They had closed down their pumps at the gas station, at the Kroger Smiths, where I go. And they had guys servicing the machines, I guess. The pumps were opened up, and they had these canisters that they were doing tests in or something. So I don't know if it's because they're closing, because of the oil crash, or what. I'm not rich enough to have a car. And I did notice that there are some Utahns who are very upset right now and who don't tolerate other people in their way, despite being able to see that they're also suffering. If you remember my video from last night, the breaking news of the 94 homeless from the men's shelter who tested positive for coronavirus and were relocated, as told by my ex. I try to stay away, but I keep getting these ideas in my head to let her know about things. And last night was about SNAP that she gets. I was told by others that they had gotten extra money on SNAP for. So I turned off the machine, I had gone to bed, and then I was told contact her. So I turned on the machine, emailed her. She had already emailed me just seconds earlier. And so I sent her an email to check her balance, and then decided, no, I'm just going to call her anyway. And the sad thing is she knows I was a good guy to her. It was her family, it was the church and the bishop, it was the landlord, it was the mental health that she has, who chased her away from me so that they can then attack me and come after me. And if you remember, Friday the 13th is memorable for the Knights Templar, which the Yorkites then had as the highest rank, of which the Smiths were a part of and saved America. And the Book of Mormon was the warning to America that they will be coming back, that they were just chased underground by the Smiths, and that they will reemerge in the future. And so they warned us. They warned us of the government, to put a king on the throne, to trash the Constitution. And also they warned us about a church that would emerge. And I've been telling you about Albert Pike and his letter to Giuseppe Mazzini, who were of the Scottish Rites Lodge, of whom Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball were a part of, and thus the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But Albert Pike said, we are going to destroy Christianity in the Third World War, and we will replace it with the Church of Lucifer, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the Book of Mormon describes in great detail the Church of Lucifer, which they also call the Great and Abominable Church as well. And yet, Mormons who don't know any of this The Mormons at the lower levels do not know a single thing about this because their leaders have purposely deceived them and lied to them and addicted them to them. Just like Karl Marx said. And yes, people try to say that, oh, he was for religion, even though all communist countries ban religions. But religion is the opiate of the masses. And just think about it, Mormons. You go to church week after week to be recharged and feel the Spirit. Why aren't you feeling it every hour? I need thee every hour. What's wrong with you that you have to be addicted to church? That you have to go to the temple to be recharged, to go to church to be recharged, to hear conference to be recharged, to read the scriptures to be recharged. Do you understand what that refers to in the metaphoric symbolism in scriptures regarding seeds and fruit? The word is likened unto a seed, and you keep having to go back to get more seed. What's happening? You're not producing fruit. You are letting the seed die. And maybe it's also because you're giving bad seeds, and they won't plant and take root. But yet, I come along and say, hey, Smiths were good. Joseph is a translator. I myself translated. I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs. I discovered that the Bible stories come from the Egyptian petroglyph translations. And what happens? I get ganged up on by my own people. I get shunned. They have anger towards me. Literal anger and hatred. I see it even just on YouTube channel when I do these videos. What the bleepity bleep bleep is wrong with you, Mormons? Because you know about the Book of Mormon. When a Nephi gets to step up to be the birthright blessing son because Laman was bad, and Laman wants him murdered. Abinadi, and the people want him murdered, and they did murder him. Samuel the Lamanite, they threw rocks at him to try to murder him. What is wrong with you? Where in the scriptures does Jesus Christ, whom ye claim to worship, justify that kind of action towards one of your own who is prophesying, preaching, and warning? Oh, well, you're not the prophet, Travis. Oh, so it's okay to have me murdered. It's okay to torture me. It's okay to neglect me, to cause suffering upon me. And you can go and wash your hands and say, I'm Christ-like. I'm going to be exalted. You, Travis, are an apostate. You are an antichrist. Who's the antichrist? Who doesn't follow Christ's teachings? The hearts of men were supposed to wax cold in the last days. Check it off. It's been fulfilled. Still no word yet from Judge First. and the docket's going to be shut off at noon, so I won't be able to find out what her final response is until midnight tonight. And I typically can't wake up at midnight unless something happens. There's going to be a huge walk-off of the necessary jobs tomorrow on the Victory Day of Russia, which is a Labor Day for them. A Victory Day for the workers. And our workers tomorrow are giving Russia the thumbs up, middle finger, the thumbs up, the middle finger, and saying, we're quitting Trump. And so that's good. I guess people are learning not to take bleach. Unbelievable. And it's Trump's people that are doing it, because those who don't like Trump, who know that he's a bad guy, who know he's a liar, who know him by his fruits, are not listening to him. Let's see if I can find out what Utah's job losses were for last week. We're now over 30, plus the pre-coronavirus numbers, so that puts us around 35 million in America who have lost their jobs. There's ABC4 News Utah. Planet Aquarium. Those on unemployment must return to work if given suitable offers. Holy crap, they're forcing people to work. Oh, dear God. So that's Utah, right there. ABC4 News Utah is my source because they produce the most videos from their news feed versus the others. 21 minutes ago, those on unemployment must return to work if given suitable offers. Nothing is suitable if you're going to be put at risk to die with coronavirus. It's not complicated. Do not let them force you to die and give up your life. God damn. Let's see what else. I'm not seeing the unemployment. Son of a bitch. Mormon boy Gary Herbert. I'm not seeing anything about the numbers. Summit coming, it's 16, yeah, nothing. They're not saying what the numbers are. Okay, let me Google search it then. Utah unemployment. No. Okay, here we go. Though still high, Utah's unemployment claims slowed last week. Okay, but what's the number? 11,000. There we go. It's from KUTV, the news. KUTV. That's the channel 5, I think, isn't it? Or that's KSL is 5. KUTV, is that 2? So 11,000. We have that. Where do we put it? And we still have another hour before the coronavirus cases will be up, and it's not looking like they're going to reveal the 94 cases that were just exposed by me last night in an exclusive, because I still don't see ABC4 News Utah covering it. They're keeping the homeless coronavirus cases a secret. And they've been trying to keep it a secret the whole time, but people have been paying attention. But now everybody's forced to stay away from the homeless, and so now Utah is purposely going after the homeless now, killing them off. Dear God. Alright. That's it. That's all I can come up with right now. I can talk about the lawsuit. Remember, I filed in the jurisdiction of conspiracy theories. The technical wording is 42 USC 1985, not 1983, which is for general civil cases. And I have a ton of counts. At least 50. At least 50. And so 11 days late, the church's lawyers finally respond. But they don't send me my copy of their motion to dismiss. I'm hearing box stackings and interesting. All right. And so I send my reply because I only have 2 weeks to respond, and so I'll be back. Alright, that was Russ. I had to take care of some stuff for him. So I'm a little more calmed down. But that's the one reason why I left the Mormon church. Want nothing more to do with it. Not going back. Even though they chased me out. Not excommunicated. Remember the video I did yesterday? I am the one. And, yeah, it was Brigham Young as a bloodthirsty murderer that told me, no, this ain't Jesus' church. If the successor after Joseph was murdered, which I found out was under orders of Brigham Young, but if Brigham Young's going around murdering people, I want nothing to do with it. But the thing is that I was born and raised into it. I didn't get a choice to choose. You know, it wasn't I converted to the church. There is a conversion that has to take place for everyone. But for me, it was pursuing the belief that Joseph Smith was the actual founder of this organization. But when I realized that Brigham Young had nothing to do with true succession, I want nothing to do with this church. And apparently Mormons want me to have nothing to do with this church either, as the first part of this video demonstrated. Just unbelievable, the hatred. Unbelievable. Where was I? I was talking about my lawsuit, wasn't I? I told you my part, so I won't repeat that. The church responded, finally, 11 days late, and then I pointed out in my reply that I didn't receive my copy of the motion to dismiss, and so they then sent me my copy, and so I let everybody know they're now 24 days late. I can't believe they fell for that one. But today is the last day that Judge First is working, and we're her last case, and she didn't put anything in before noon. And so I'm going to check tomorrow morning and hope and pray that she sides on my behalf. Because if she sides for them, I'm also going to be toast. They're going to come at me full of vengeance. I mean, they already hate me now. And so once they get, like Trump got his acquittal, look what he's done now to America. So, yeah, the church is going to follow the same exact example of Trump if Judge First acquits them. Says, yes, motion to dismiss granted with prejudice. But their motion to dismiss was claiming that it was a conspiracy theory. No duh. Like I said, I filed it under the conspiracy theory statute or jurisdiction. So that claim of theirs is null and void. Then they said that the nature of the case, because you got to put a nature of the case in first before you then go over each and every single count, which are the accusations against whoever you're filing a lawsuit against. And so the nature of the case is just a summary statement, which for me was multiple pages, because there's a lot to talk about with the church. So setting up the nature of the case. And so the lawyers claimed that they couldn't find any actual counts and were quoting from the pages which were the nature of the case. They didn't respond to any of my counts. And like I said, at least 50 counts, and they just said, oh, the nature of the case doesn't have any counts in it. Again, another no duh, Captain Obvious. And so their whole basis for dismissal is unfounded. And then they tried a third attempt to dismiss and said that my request for relief was not a dollar figure. A simple sentence for a dollar figure. It's because I put everything. The whole church has to close because of the level of corruption just against me and me alone, not with all the other corruptions that they've been perpetuating around the world. Just with me, it's serious enough to shut them down permanently, forever, never to rise from the grave. And so I made it very clear, everything they have to shut down. And I gave an option. Either they hand me the keys and I'll take over and do it the right way, or they sell everything and I get the balance. And so, because they aren't releasing their financial information, we don't know what everything is in regards to a dollar figure. And so their whole case for dismissal, as I put, moot, irrelevant, and frivolous. That's what they tried to accuse me of, but they themselves were guilty of it. The whole beam and moat, or as I have come to recognize by having completed fruits of this principle, that which you falsely accuse in another reveals the same and worse fault in yourself. That's why it's important to be a righteous judge. The world is trying to push on everybody, you can't judge me. can't judge this. But no, that's not what Scripture's telling us. It's telling us to be a righteous judge. That's what the beam and the mote is all about. So, that's been my standard for the church. If you've noticed in my videos, I don't quote some Christian and say, oh, it's Christian belief that there is one God, therefore Mormons are wrong. That's not how it works. Mormons don't believe in the one God, the Trinity of Constantine, Homoousius. Mormons believe in a different theology. And so in order to get through to Mormons, and as you can tell, I've gotten through to them all right, they're pissed. Because I'm using their scriptures, their theology, their traditions, their culture against them, showing them the errors they've made with their own religion. Because again, born and raised 50 years, I know everything about the church, especially now that I've done church history. And I've been influential in the church. As I seem to identify in yesterday's video about those excommunicated, the church leaders usually made a statement publicly associated with whoever. Whether it was excommunication or whatever, there was a public denouncement. And with me, it seems that they put out the gospel topic essays in response to me. Because it came out in 2011, they had me disappeared in 2008, and it was official at the end of 2009. So, yeah. And as a result of what they tried to counter with me, the church lost an active membership of 11 million instantly, because the news was coming out shortly after saying that membership is questionable. And every year since then, they've been saying membership's questionable. It's not 16 million. People have left and they're not going back. Because it's not like Catholics in Mormonism. They have membership records. Whereas Catholics would understand that they're having trouble if nobody's showing up to the Mass at the cathedrals and their churches. But for the Mormon Church, it's all about the membership numbers. That's what they use to justify insurance fraud and tax fraud and all sorts of other frauds financially as a white-collar criminal organization. Because if they just get people to get baptized and get a certificate of baptism, but then they don't go to church anymore, church still claims them. And that creates a lot of fraudulent criminal activity. So like I said, not just me, it's others around the world who are being victimized. So let's hope and pray that I win. Because if she does nothing and says, I'm not going to handle this, I'm out. And even if she's afraid of her life, because they'll go after her too. She got fired for allowing a case against the church to proceed. You know, if they're going to fire her for just that, what are they going to do to her when she orders that the church loses everything? So I understand her position, but she should understand mine as well. And she should understand everyone in the whole world who who have become enslaved and tortured by this church. Because again, it's not Joseph's church. It's not the Church of Jesus Christ. It's some other church, because by their fruits we know them. And the standard of the Book of Mormon, standard of the Doctrine and Covenants, testifies against the church. That's how I've been doing this whole time. And yet Mormons are pissed. They are enraged. They stay away from me. They want nothing to do with me. They tell others to stay away from me. And I'm being attacked by those who have some position to do so against me. West Valley City Police with their mayor, Ron Bigelow. Landlord trying to get me evicted on the 13th, Friday the 13th of March, as the case is proceeding. So the lawyers do know. And that's why that's the best defense they could come up with. That, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, I filed it correctly. Well, the nature of the case doesn't have any counts. Yeah, it's not supposed to. And they didn't respond to any of the counts because they've got no response. Because the evidence is self-evident that the church is guilty of every single count in my lawsuit. And I have the evidence because they have the evidence. My evidence comes from them. Their own temple ceremony text. Nelson getting up in conference and saying, number 10 for the temple recommend interview for worthiness is, do you pay a full tithe? If you are poor and you're not paying tithing, you're not worthy. And that's what's happening right now. Entertainment, sports, shut down. The rich upper elite are pissed with American culture, where celebrities in entertainment and sports are getting filthy rich. Not filthy like them, but millionaires. And even Oprah is a billionaire. They are furious. And that's why they're completely changing our culture now. They're allowing us to stay at home and be entertained. But Gary Herbert, he's forcing people back to work. As we get continual outbreaks of coronavirus now, that the state is not even reporting. They're late today. I had to text them or email them, and they texted me, and I said, hey, you guys are late today. Where's the numbers? They're trying to control the data. They don't want it revealed that Utah is in a crisis, that there are outbreaks in Utah as well. And we're only 3 million. But we're having outbreaks. But he's controlling the narrative by controlling the amount of testing and keeping the numbers of cases proportionate to the amount of testing. And thus the hospitalizations and the deaths correspond. Because anybody else who gets it, who is not tested, who dies but was not tested, they don't count. And that's how they're controlling the narrative. Alright, I'm done.